Hello, my boils, my ghouls, and my zools. Welcome back to Kalash Kamaz. Yeah, I'm feeling fucking silly today. I'm just in a good mood. So, might have got a little bit of a spoiler by the title that bought a rifle off of Misha, and we are talking about the WASR3 today. Obviously not going to rehash Misha's video because he's done plenty on goddamn Romanian guns. We've done plenty of shit on Romanian guns here. Really, it was mostly just one episode that, kind of covered really everything you can talk about when it comes to the imports into the U.S. We did talk about this rifle a little bit, but not a whole lot. This was the first 5.56 variant of AK to come into the U.S. from Romania. It is, just kind of standard AKM, really. It's a WASR, you can't really... not a whole lot to say about it. So, it's kind of hard to make an interesting episode about the thing. So, we all know WASRs, man. Big difference with this one is it's 5.56. So, that's pretty cool. Misha was very nice enough to include a Viger mag. I don't know what these are coming with from Sentry. So, also kind of making me a bit of a flexer because now I own 4 Viger mags. And, it's kind of hard to do. They're getting a little bit rare. So thank you very much, Misha. Now, I am not clear if this is the same exact WASR3 from his videos where you might have seen this thing being tested by him for about a year or so. And he had a couple malfunctions here and there, but, just taking a look at just wear around the rifle and trying to, screen match it and whatnot. It very well may be that rifle. It seems to have at least, some similar wear when you look real closely in those videos. So that's cool if that's the case, like I said, can't say 100%. I'd have to actually ask him. But anyhow, I actually was not able to reproduce any of those malfunctions that he was having with this rifle whatsoever, especially with the Viger mags. It runs great off the Viger mags, but the, AC Unity mags runs fine, didn't really try a huge amount of mags with this thing, but, the main ones that I tend to use with 5.56 AKs, all checked out, I actually didn't check out any of my plums or bakes that are converted over, so maybe that'll be a thing for another day. But just talking about this rifle, there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to the history of this thing. They weren't military issued, about closest thing you could say to them is they're fairly close to a East German, kinda. There are some differences with gas block and whatnot, but other than that, it's really, not terribly off from, a lot of other 223 AKM spec rifles, and a lot of them do kind of come from that East German lineage, that's where the TDPs come from a lot of the times. So, just going through the rifle, I was able to actually zero it just fine with the irons, but, they are absolutely canted, especially when I took the barrel alignment block. I'm like, just kind of lining it up. I'm like, oh, that fucker is canted. But still zeroed just fine. There wasn't a problem. That's Romanian guns, I've been lucky enough to have a whole bunch of straight sights on all my rifles, and they don't have any when you pick up the rifle, you can see if it's canted. I actually don't have that on any of my rifles. I am privileged. Out of all my rifles, I don't have one that has real badly canted sights. They're only canted, if any of them are canted, it's kind of one of those situations where you gotta pull out an alignment jig and actually double check it and see how far off it is, because this one is visibly way off. The other ones, like I'm saying, can't tell just by looking. Still able to zero just fine though, so sorry about rambling about that a little bit. A little bit of Sentry monkey action going on with this. This is something that's kind of common among the Sentry Arms imports, but I think you've all seen me do a reload once or twice. it's in. Yeah, it's not, you try to just, it just doesn't slam in. You have to really kind of, it's straight up because they didn't cut the mag well correctly. Obviously this is going to be, yeah, obviously these are going to come in single stack, so they would have had to add them up. What you can do to kind of tell, a very cheap tool, you can kind of tell right off the bat if your magwell might need to be opened up a little bit. Requiem Arms actually makes a tool for Saiga conversions, and that'd be this little guy right here. You know, I was actually just kind of discussing this particular tool with Christian Mbach from Mbach Armory the other day, and you know, I was just telling him why I picked this up, because, you know, this ain't my first century gun, so I kind of knew it needed to be opened up a little bit before I even received it. But what this allows you to do is it's, you know, just kind of like a scribe jig that, you know, you can at least see how far off you are and how much you need to open it up. Now, let me line this up, Okay, that's exactly where it's supposed to be. You know, I keep my videos a bit dark, honestly, so you can't really see that, but, you know, I suppose you'll have to trust me. Yeah, it's actually got, let me see. Let me just estimate, because, look, my calipers are downstairs, motherfuckers. So, in the little, like, front lug top portion here, you got about, you know, a few thou in there. You know, this is just a standard spec. This actually lines up to my Saiga perfectly. So, you know, I think my Saiga might have been cut with one of these guys. When it gets down to the center portion, down to the rear lugs here, you can see, I would estimate about 1 millimeter on each side that is pressed in. So, you know, these mags are a bit wide, and, you know, the Romanians did make copies of the Viger mags, so they should fit in perfectly fine. However, it's just not able to go in correctly. So we're gonna have to put this on the mill. We're gonna have to open up the mag well. It's just not an option to have it like this. You know, I tried other mags, it's the exact same thing. And, you know, AC Unity mags are significantly easier on every other single 5.56 AK. They're not very, very wide. These are pretty wide, you know, it's a steel mag. You know, just going through the centuriness of this, you know, that's really the only huge issue is the magazine well. I do also see, like, another classic thing that is pretty common with a lot of these WASRs from Century. The mag resin. I can't talk today, and I'm doing a goddamn direct upload. What is my problem? The magazine release. It's all this good mood shit. The magazine release is cut. Janky as fuck. It's like a U, dude. Like a straight U. And I'm like, what in the hell? So, probably gonna just go ahead and replace that as well. You know, that's, you know, probably a 922 part anyhow. I mean, you can almost guarantee it because of how fucking badly it's cut. You can just, it's just atrocious, honestly. And the gun that I won from Century in the past, the WASR3, had the exact same problems going on. You know, steel mags were just crazy fucking tight in it. The mag release on that one was actually way, way worse. So, honestly, if you wanted to see a little bit more of that rifle, I'd, you know, go tell the Carbon R32, you know, our good old buddy, the 2A VW Tech, Tomislav. He owns my old WASR3 now. So, yeah, you might want to hit him up and tell him, you know, hey, show me that mag release. Is it really like that? That one's bad. I imagine he might have replaced that by now or fixed it, but the furniture, you know, pretty standard of, you know, U.S. imports You know, it's probably came in as a single stack sporter. You know, that's how most rifles are coming in. I very much doubt Sugar is sending them parts kits and they're assembling them in the US, but stuff like that does happen, you know. So I don't actually know which way they're doing it with these new WASR3s, because the old ones were straight imports, straight up, you know, coming in as sporter rifles, single stack sporter rifles. I imagine these are exactly the same, but you know, I never assume with Century, because you know, it is Century. So outside of that, yeah, just standard black polymer grip. I mean, you know, we can't really say much about opinion on the furniture. It's, you know, very, very, very standard for, you know, a lot of American AKs. I do think it would have been kind of cool if they at least put a 74 stock with the divots in here, honestly, but, you know, whatever, not a big deal. I definitely prefer a palm swell, but, you know, this is very Romanian, so, you know, they're not putting no fucking Romanian surplus furniture on here or nothing like that, but hey, at least the furniture actually does match for a WASR, so that's cool, man. That's cool. I mean, yeah, pretty standard. Oh yeah, you don't have a cleaning kit, so, you know, don't worry about that, but you do at least have your cleaning rod, because, I mean, shit, your AK should have a cleaning rod. Straight up, I mean, they're useful as fuck. I literally just had the use for one at my last match, and I swear to God, I, like, left it in my car, and I'm like, I gotta run all the way across the range for that thing, so you're gonna have to deal. I should have kept it on the rifle, because somebody actually had a jacket separation and had to pound it out, so I could have helped them out there, and we ended up having to do a whole other thing. Now, when it comes to the shootability of this particular rifle, like I said, the sights are pretty canted. I was able to zero them just fine. I did just quickly slide an optic on, you know, just to see what's up, and weirdly enough, because it was on another 223 rifle, it was extremely, extremely close. So, you know, I just kind of played around with that for a little while, and I mean, it's, you know, it's a rifle with an optic. Sorry, this really can't be the most interesting episode. It's, you know, this is not Dracula's favorite AK, you know. This is kind of like the run-of-the-mill civilian, very vanilla WASR, if you ask me, you know. This is, I mean, it's not a light shooter, by the way. I mean, that is one thing we should talk about when it comes to the shootability of it. This thing is fucking gassed, bro. I'm not gonna say it's like Arsenal gassed, because that is like painful. Like, when, you know, you don't know what I'm talking about. There was a lot of Arsenals out there that had incorrectly drilled gas ports and were just fucking bangers. People were all reporting it from the SAM 5s, but I also found SAM 7s that were just like not cool, man. Not cool. Like, painful, man. So this thing, I wouldn't say is a gas like that, but, you know, you're finding these days with a lot of the, you know, now that 223 AKs have taken the fuck off, you're finding a lot of real proper gassing out of them. You know, for example, Saiga 223s are most, you know, probably the most known for the longest, you know, outside of maybe a Norinco 84S. And those have really beautiful gassing. I mean, it's absolutely perfect, to the point where many Saigas, you cannot actually use a KNS piston even in the closed position, much like mid-length Galil Aces. So, yeah, it's nothing like a Saiga. It's nothing like your M90. It's nothing like any of those. It's nothing like your WBP. This thing is gassed like a military rifle. Because all these other 223 AKs you're finding, they're very well gassed. They figured out a spec for them by now, because they used to just either, you know, just drill it to some random spec, or they drilled it to 74 spec, and you had all these crazy fucking gassed rifles that were all over the place. And, you know, you never knew if the thing was going to cycle back in the day, because of, you know, the magazines. You had magazine availability problem. There just wasn't a lot of magazines around. Unless you could find things like WASR magazines, like 84S magazines and shit like that. Or if you were some early adopter back in the day and happened to be in the Khyber Pass. Speaking of, go check out Khyber Pass Customs. That's my homie Omar. He is actually in the Khyber Pass. He is here on YouTube. He is on Instagram. Go check out Khyber Pass Customs. Poor guy gets his goddamn content pilfered by Brandon Herrera. So, you know, you've seen a lot of his content on there if you watch that channel. Unfortunately, the guy never gets any credit for his stuff, and he does some amazing work, and he also films some amazing, you know, he does work on guns himself as well as filming all these other crazy guns that are out there. He's a gun guy out there. He's been reaching out to a lot of us in the US, and he's fucking awesome. I actually talk to him on the phone all the time just because he's a nice guy. A lot of people won't do that out here in the US because he's, you know, very thick accent and whatnot. But shit, you talk guns with that guy, you're going to be on the phone for 4 hours and you're going to be hearing some wild shit in the background. But anyhow, go check out Khyber Pass Customs. I'm still giving these shout outs. I'm just kind of doing it in a different fashion. Anyhow, the gassing on this thing, back to that. Man, you shoot this thing, you know positively that round came out, man. This thing, it's a 223 AK. You expect them to be lighter shooting. This thing actually pushes me like my heavier gassed 7.62 rifles. For example, my SLR 95. Very military gassing on that thing. So it's very reliable, but you're getting a pow, pow. You know, it's this thing, higher pressure. So it's just, it is into you, man. It does not let up. So might have to try a piston on this thing just to make it a little more comfortable to shoot. It's so far been very reliable in just the few mags I've dumped in it because, you know, the rounds go into the next dimension. I mean, I didn't even see where on the berm they were going. They were traveling over the berm. So it's the only other gun that I have that I've seen that with is the mini barrel, which infamously throws brass into interdimensions. So I think we'll have to, you know, obviously go out to the range and, you know, shoot this thing. But, you know, it may not happen next episode. You know, it's not going to happen this episode. I didn't film it when I went out there. I actually was just out there with my lady, honestly, plinking because she'd never shot a gun before. So, you know, I was showing her AKs and pistols and whatnot. So it was a fun old day getting a new shooter, you know, getting some trigger time with a new shooter. So, anyhow, yeah, to be honest with you, y'all know I was, you know, I say I'm very open about my life. I'm just a human. I go to work like everybody else. I shit and put shoes on like everybody else. Well, most people, I don't know. I've seen people that don't shit. You know, and I'm, you know, I've been a mechanic for the past year working on bowling machines and, you know, just a general bowling machine technician, really. Although I did have to do mechanics as well. But, I've had a career change. I am now a gunsmith apprentice. So I'm just going to be straight honest with you, man. The twists and turns of my life, I've always said, a little bit of a blog here, a little bit of an infotainment here, as, you know, I prepare my big shift that I've been talking about for a while. Yeah, it's apprentice wages. So, you know, I don't really want to burn up all my personal ammo for you guys. I don't have very much of it, so, you know, we're going to have to fucking go buy some ammo just for this video, which we're going to do because I want you to see how this thing is gassed. We're going to take out a few 223 rifles. That's the only reason I'm worried about it. I'm going to need a little bit of ammo to demonstrate this because we might just have to have follow-up video with 223 AK day. So, can't do that until I get a rifle back from having some work done. It is over at Appalachian Gun Works being worked on by AK John. That would be my mini barrel. So, yeah, maybe we'll have to catch back up with 5.56 variant video or something like that, and we'll show some comparisons just because I'm talking about how the gassing is on this thing. It's fucking crazy. Now, irons, like I said, I was primarily shooting irons when I was testing it out. I mean, I primarily shoot irons anyhow. So one cool thing off the bat was I was standing at about like 75 yards with a rough zero, you know, and the point of impact on this thing was great. Absolutely fantastic. You know, I was able to actually like work the, you know, kind of close dope, but dope, you know, was able to work it around very easily because turns out this thing is extremely accurate, man. Extremely accurate. So I am extremely satisfied with this rifle. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to line up the 223 AKs and we're going to have to talk about 223 AKs. So little bit of history on these guys. They came in I believe 2003 originally. I'd have to actually go back and take a look at some things. Like I said, doing a direct upload, shooting from the hip here a little bit, but they came in around 2003, and originally these were supplied with Bakelights actually. So haven't tried it. Like I said, haven't tried it yet, but I guess bakes should fit fine, hopefully. What was interesting about those bakes, obviously Bakelite magazines are 545, and that was a long time ago. You know, we didn't have an... Look, they weren't very nice to me, so fuck Pod Arms. I was going to try to be nice because they're a competitor, but dude, they're weirdos. I don't like those guys. So anyhow, this was long before the popularity of Pod Arms. They were actually supplied with the infamous Robinson Arms followers, Rob Arms, you know, you might have heard this name around. This was the original conversion follower. They did not work. So, they worked very, very sporadically. I have shot mags with Rob Arms followers in them, and I had a perfectly fine time, but I am very aware of, you know, like older AK users than me, they can definitely purport those things were very hit and miss. I do know a couple people that happen to still own some Rob Arms followers, and they'll purport the same thing. In fact, might just have to ask if I could borrow one of those for, you know, video and talk about 3D printed followers and this little micro history on 223 conversion followers for 545 mags, even though that kind of is it. You know, there was a company called Robinson Arms making them in the early 2000s. They stopped making them. Pod Arms just straight up made the exact same design in PLA. And, you know, they try to sell you that they're doing some kind of special thing. It's just the same thing, you know, so... you can go online, get that file, print it yourself for free. No reason to pay $16 or have to deal with slip near the horse, you know, so... yeah, I'm talking shit. They're fucking weirdos, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So, try to be nice. Try to be nice. So, anyhow, I think that'll about wrap it up until we can do a little shooting on this. I hope you enjoyed this, kind of vanilla, but a little spicy episode sometimes, because I realized I was talking some shit there, and I'm gonna upload this, so I don't give a fuck. I don't know. Can't really say much more about that. You know, it's a 223 AK that's gassed very, very heavy. And we're kind of getting to a point with the 223 AK market. It's like, damn, dude, how many do you need? Are they really all that different? Well, that's why we're going to follow this up with a nice 223 AK episode. And we're going to talk about those differences with them. Just got to wait to get my mini barrel back, because that is very relevant to the conversation, because, you know, there are still full-sized barrels available as of today. This is mid-November. Trying to remember the date, but, you know, I'm a fucking loser. So there's still full-sized ones available. All mini barrels are sold out, so, you know, they're already reaching that $1,500, $2,000 range, but, you know, it's still relevant to the conversation, because plenty of people got them. That wasn't very long ago that they ran out of the stock of them. So Anyhow, again, hope you enjoyed this little spicy vanilla episode. Y'all stay safe, have fun, do stupid.